Luke here from Following Strength. We are joined by the new British log press record holder, Jack Osborn. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. How's your training going post record?
Good, good. Obviously, after the record, I had OSG and comp in Hungary. Since then, though, I've been doing a bit of like a hypertrophy bodybuilding block, just give my body a bit of a break from the heavy stuff.
I bet was it crying out for a rest after all that work?
Yeah, my knees are feeling it on the log press record. I don't know if you saw my lighter warm-up weights.
Yeah.
They weren't moving quite as well as I wanted. I think like in my head, because I knew my knee was a little bit off, I wanted to save it for the heavier weights. So my 119, 200 log were a bit slow and like naff technique because of that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I am obviously wrong. I would have assumed it was your shoulders that would have taken the battering.
Oh no, no. My shoulders, they're not too bad normally. Sometimes I get a niggle in them here or there just because obviously the kind of weights that I'm pressing, but it's my knees at that stage.
Wow. And like what was the prep like for that log? Were you just dialed in and only training log and stuff, or did you keep on with your other strongman stuff?
So I kept in other things as well. Didn't want to just do log, but obviously all the heavy focus was on the log. I had, I think, about 6 to 8 weeks prep leading up to that show of focusing solely on like log training, keeping that heavy. Still did deadlifts, squats, still did them, but I did a variation. I was doing banded speed squats or banded box squats as well, just to work on that kind of like explosive top end strength when you kind of, coming for that push press part. There's no point in getting strong at the bottom of the squat if I'm only doing a quarter squat for the log.
Absolutely. I followed your prep for the log record quite closely, if I'm honest, on social media. And I saw you do a rep at Valkyrie in Surrey with James Matthews' place. I'm not sure how heavy it was, 210 maybe? It was like
I
air.
think it's 215. Yeah.
It was like air. And it was at that point that I knew I think we're going to see a new record here. What do you think you had in you on the day? Could you have gone higher?
It's hard to say. I think there was potential, like maybe like a 15% chance I could have got the world record like, if I'd gone for it fresh. Um, Definitely another 5 kilos there, I think. But I think because I went there with the mindset, get the British record, go for that. As soon as I got it, my head wouldn't say it went, but got the achievement I wanted. And then obviously there's a bit of an adrenaline dump after that. Obviously a bit of fatigue as well from the press itself. But to better get the world record just above my head gives me good confidence for this year because I think that's my sticking point on log is just that kind of like inch or two above the head. Then once I get past that, my triceps kick in and they're pretty strong.
Wow. So you felt the world record in your hands and you think maybe there's a shot.
Yeah, definitely this year. I think there's a good shot. I'll have a bit more prep as well. I think at least 10 weeks would be a good target for this year.
Oh, I think we would all love to see that. Whether it's a head to head between you and Andre Foitu or whether Iron Bibi came on the scene, that would be incredible.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it'd be good to have Bibi out. Obviously, he's the current record holder. I think last year he had a bit of a knee issue or knee surgery. I think just having him there as well, the size difference between me and him would look kind of comical as well. Because I can't remember how tall he is. I think he's at least 6'4", maybe, but obviously 200 plus kilos body weight.
Yeah, that would be quite the disparity. When I was watching that, I wasn't lucky enough to be there in person. I was watching the live stream. What I really liked was seeing you and Loz there together.
Hmm.
What was that like to have your coach there and your mentor there? Was that a nice moment?
Yeah, yeah. I think because I've been coached by him for 11 years now. Like he knows me in and out when it comes to strongman, like in personal life as well. So having someone there who knows what you can and can't do, like having him there on your side saying that you've got the record in you, it's not just him blowing smoke up your ass.
For sure. How 11 years? How did you come to choose Loz as your coach?
kind of by chance. I joined the local gym that he trains at. This was back for rugby training though, when I was 16. Just wanted to go to a gym that actually had enough kit to train on. Bumped into him, joined in with a few of his strongman sessions he was doing with his friends at the time, and just from there got into strongman.
That's incredible. Was your log press always like even then a thing?
Yeah, I just don't know why, but it's always been a good thing for me. I think if I remember rightly, I won or came second on the log at my first ever comp. I think I was 17 against adults in like a novice category,
The
and
first
it's for
time,
reps.
the first time that I ever came across your name was I think you did a comp at Barbell Division in Southampton,
Yeah, that might have been 2020 juniors, I think.
and you did a ridiculous log press then.
Yeah, I think it was 182 and a half is where I did that for the British junior record.
Awesome. Same day, I think that Aaron Page might have hit whether it was an unofficial or an official British record.
It was an official one, I think, but some people were a bit upset with the down call. But at the end of the day, if the ref gives you the signal, it's not your fault.
Totally agree.
But yeah, he got the record that day. Yeah.
That's incredible. Two records on the same day at the same gym. That would have been incredible.
Hmm.
Tell us a bit about you and Loz's relationship. I've heard through the grapevine that you guys have always been really close as coach and client.
Yeah, because obviously training at the same gym. Um, Back when I was younger, we didn't train together as much, but now a lot of our sessions are together. But I think obviously online coaching is great, especially if you can get someone who's been in the sport for years, got that experience, knows the ins and outs. But being able to also have that coach in person does bring extra benefits as well. Be able to see your training as you're doing it. They can give you live feedback, tell you whether it's worth pushing a bit heavier that day if things are moving well, or whether it's worth pulling back if your body's just a bit battered or life stresses are in the way, things like that.
Yeah, and he was still competing at the very, very top end back then.
Yeah, I think it was 2016 he won Europe's, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so I think it must have been 2015 I joined the gym.
Maybe you were his lucky charm, pal.
Yeah.
And throughout that coaching journey, you've obviously done some really big comps. I've watched you in person at England's Strongest Man, and other comps, but you also competed at Europe's Strongest Man in 2020.
Yeah, a little bit of luck with that one because of COVID, but represented Hungary because I'm half Hungarian. Obviously, with all the travel restrictions, they were struggling to get people from other countries represented, and because I got that blood relation, I managed to get in through that way.
What was it like? Because you were a young guy then, and that was your first Giants Live experience, and there were some big hitters in there, Luke Richardson,
Yeah,
Adam Bishop. What was it like for you competing that day?
I guess it's hard to explain. I got the call up probably about 5 days out, so obviously there's no prep for it, but I was still training hard anyway. But because there was no expectations as well, because it's like a huge jump up in level from where I was at that time. It's kind of more just go there, get a bit of experience, see how those kind of shows are run. So I'd say kind of relaxed, but obviously still going out to do my best.
Forgive me, the placings are off in my head. All I can remember is that it was Bish versus Luke Richardson on the stones to decide the winner, and I think Bish dropped a stone. Um, how did you do in that comp in the lineup?
Finished ninth overall. The It was done through elimination, so I think if I remember correctly, I was second or something going into the last event on day one because the first day events were really good for me, and then after that it all went downhill because it was deadlift, some kind of I think it was a keg throw, grip on the dinnies. Oh no, it wasn't the dinnies. What's the other stones they got? The ones you walk with, nickel stones. That's the one.
Yeah.
So the first day was good for me. Second day, not so much.
So second place at Europe's in day one.
But like going into the last event, which was loading, I think I was fifth overall going into the second day because loading's still not too good for me.
Well, it sounds like you definitely didn't do yourself a disservice, pal. And then
Yeah.
you also competed at OSG a few times, making the final previously. How does OSG compare to a Giants live comp?
Uh, Now it's not too dissimilar. I know in the past they've had basically every single athlete there for the whole day doing one event at a time through every single class. You'd have people there waiting 4 hours between events. But now, because it's staggered in a way where they have a few classes paired up, it's kind of similar pacing. Not obviously the whole 5 events in one go, but similar pacing in that regards. Obviously, the atmosphere is going to be completely different. Giants Live stadium's completely filled out with like fans of the sport, whereas OSG it's kind of just competitors, their friends and family. So obviously they're not going to be cheering on as much, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. That's a real hot topic at the moment, OSG. And people, I've heard rumors. There was a rumor that it was going to be in England next year or this year, but I've heard
Hmm.
since that it's going to be in America again. As an athlete who's competed, do you think it would be different if it were in England or Europe? Would there be crowds?
It wouldn't be as packed out as a Giants Live, that's for sure. But I think there definitely would be a bigger crowd, maybe kind of like the England's kind of size, England's strongest man. Um, just think with America, it's so big. Even the athletes over there have got to take into account travel expenses. So fans and that they're not just going to be able to drive down the road 3 or 4 hours like you can in the UK to go to watch a show. So it's expenses definitely play into it, even for American athletes when it's held out there.
If it had the crowd that England's had, that would be amazing. But England's looks, I've been for the past 3 years, I think about 1,000 people maybe in there, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, I think it's around 1,500.
And that atmosphere is always crazy. Speaking of England's, what's the plan for this year then? Like, are we going to see you back at England's Strongest Man?
That's the plan. Yeah, I haven't been given a direct invite, so I'll be doing the qualifier, which is in April. So for now, I've still got another couple months worth of kind of hypertrophy training, give my body a bit of a break, and then at the end of February, March time, that's when I'll start prepping for that comp.
Brilliant. Do we know the events for that comp yet?
Not yet, no, but I presume they're going to come out pretty soon. Otherwise, there'll be much prep time for people.
And I guess fingers crossed for log.
Yeah, log for max, I'll be happy. Or a heavy log for reps. So I haven't got to do 10 reps.
Yes, man. And was it England's this year that you hit an insane number on log for reps?
Yeah, it was 9 reps. I think it was 150
Yeah.
on that.
And I remember thinking you could have got 10.
Yeah, I knew I'd won at that point, and in my head, I thought the time had run out, and I didn't see the point in wasting energy for a 10th rep. But if I knew the time was there to do a 10th rep, I would have anyway, just to show off. But I thought the buzz was about to go off because I thought a minute had been up surely by that point.
Yeah, I remember that, man. And because I remember Ben went out before you and he hit, I can't remember if he hit 5 or 6. And Colin interviewed him and said, that was world class. And then you came out and hit like 9 and was like, okay, there's something very, very
Yeah.
impressive. Um,
Sorry, Ben.
I'm sure he forgives you, pal. And then what's the next steps for you to get back to that Giants Live level? What have you got to do to get to Brits next year, do you think?
So the path for me would definitely have to be through England's. I plan on doing OSG Europes as well, so there could be a route through that. But obviously, that's going to be. It's hard to say. I wouldn't say it's necessarily harder to qualify because the standard of England's is some world class athletes there. But just the breadth of talent in OSG Europes does make it almost as hard, I'd say, especially when it's not as many guaranteed invites to Giants Live route.
Yeah, you've got a podium at Europe's, I guess, to be in with a sniff.
Yeah, but with England's, if you've got 3 people on the podium that have already got a Giants Live invite, they might go down the list a little bit to invite some more people up.
Yeah, and history is littered with people who have snuck in through trickled down invites and gone on to do amazing things.
Yeah.
I think about Paddy
Mm.
last year, fourth at Brits, he got a reserve invite to Europe's, smashed it, got himself into World, smashed it, got himself into Royal Albert Hall, Rogue. So who
Yeah.
knows what you could do if given the chance.
Yeah. Especially if it's log.
Yeah. Log for reps, log for max.
Max log, log
Yeah,
medley.
yeah. Is that why you're called the Beaver? Because you're so good at log?
Yeah, I don't even know where it came from, but I guess because beavers love wood and logs, so
I feel really stupid for not making that link until now. I've always just thought, oh, it's just a cool nickname. Um, but with Brits coming up, and I'm going to put you in an uncomfortable position because you've got so many friends competing. We've had the sad news today that Luke Richardson has pulled out due to the grief he's experiencing from the passing of his best friend, Par Edouard. I think everyone can completely understand Luke's decision, and fingers crossed that he's got the support around him to kind of move through that at his own pace.
yeah,
Without him competing, it throws a lot of people's predictions up in the air. We
yeah.
don't know officially yet, but we think that Paul Smith might be the replacement. So if we assume that Paul Smith is the replacement, where do you see the top three? Who do you see on the podium?
It's quite hard to say. It's like there's some events in there where if you mess up, which you can mess up quite easily on, like the bag throw, even the power stairs, even if you're good at those events, you can kind of drop points if you're a bit cocky or mess up on them. Um, I know you've got to put Tom Stoltman in there on the podium for sure. Um, Bish, I'd probably put Bish on there as well for those events, especially with the overhead being a medley. And obviously got to put Paddy in there because the events for him are solid as well, especially the overhead being a medley for him as well. It's more about speed and technique rather than strength. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
it's going to be hard to predict in order, but I'd put those three in the top three.
Paddy has a habit, I think, of turning up to comps where you think, oh, we might not be in contention for podium today, and somehow he smashes it and he's stood on podium, second, third.
Yeah,
So you'd be a fool to write him off. What about surprise packages? Like, last year at Brits, I would say Andy Flynn, huge surprise package.
yeah.
What about this year? Who do you see maybe throwing up in the air?
It's hard to say. I'd definitely put Ben in there because he's improved a lot over since last competition. Seeing his training as well, he's looking great. Um, as for the other guys, possibly Flynn. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the podium. I just think the other three are just that little bit more ahead of him. Like if one of those three didn't make the podium, I'd possibly say Bishop could probably drop out of the podium, and then either have Ben or Flynn getting that other podium spot.
Yeah, but I think it was Paddy in an interview that we did last week who said Flynn is the kind of guy who will come fourth on absolutely everything
Yeah,
and secure himself a spot on the podium. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, obviously with my ties to Ben, I've got my fingers crossed for him that he's our surprise package. Um,
yeah,
it's going to be an incredible
yeah.
lineup.
I think Ben's got a good shot podium. It's just whether one of those top athletes that have great events do mess up on them. Like I said with the bag throw, if you mess that up, that's 3 or 4 seconds time wasted, which is a long time for an event like bag throw.
Yeah, very much so. If you were competing, how would you feel about this set of events for you?
Not happy at all. They're not brilliant events. Like the overheads obviously would be good for me, but because it's a medley and not a super heavy medley, there's a good chance that people could get ahead of me on it just through like being quick. But I think because I could brute force some of the reps up, I wouldn't put myself down on the medley. I'd just say it wouldn't be a banker win for me on that.
Mhm.
Um, deadlift's getting better for me, but even then, at this kind of level, it wouldn't be good enough to secure good points. Bag throws and power stairs are still two of the weaker events for me. So kind of glad I'm not there. But obviously, I'd love to be there competing, but it'd make me look bad against those people, those events.
Fair. I understand what you mean, man. And hey, if those events are in Brits this year, say you qualify for next year, chances are they're not going to be in next year's as they rotate them.
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully.
Jack, thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time, man. I really appreciate you doing this and yeah, jumping in with us. And let's see how your predictions turn out for the comp.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm wrong and Ben gets in there on the podium. But they got a good shot. I love you, Ben. Don't you worry.